The remaster of Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3 is out in a single package including the DLC. The original games came out in 1996, 7 and 8. These are the first 3 games of the 6 games released between 1996 and 2003. They really were throwing these games out as fast as they could at the time. I personally have fond memories of little Molly playing around in Lara's manor, and then trying out my grandfather's different saves, only to die a lot and be terrified when I found the one where there were invaders in my house. But with the remasters, the games have been updated to work on modern systems and given me the chance to actually play through them with the understanding of what is actually going on. And I was surprised to see how well they actually play. I have no major issues with the performance in the game. The only bugs I really came across was occasional visual bugs in Tomb Raider 2, where the wall and floor textures that weren't supposed to be there just kinda sometimes showed up, but I could walk through them and I could only see them from certain angles. I don't quite know what was happening there, but outside of these visual bugs, I had no issues playing the games. Now the update does offer you the chance to use modern controls, and I highly recommend you don't do that. They are absolutely terrible. The controls in Tomb Raider to begin with have never been great, but I found the tank controls to work far better than the modern controls because the camera just goes crazy with the modern ones. And let's just face the camera in the Tomb Raider games has also never been very good. But you do have the ability to rebind the keys, so that's what I ended up doing. I play with the tank controls, but I simply moved the keys to be in more comfortable places. The gameplay itself is exactly as it was back in the original games, for better and for worse. Lara uses auto-aim when fighting enemies, you can reasonably predict how she will move, and most of the times it works really well, except when Lara decides that she doesn't want to follow your commands anymore. That is an issue inherited from the original game. Part of the jumping mechanics is that Lara will choose when to jump, especially when jumping from platforms. She will even tell you in the manor tutorial level that she will jump at the last possible moment. And she will do that most of the times. And some of the times she will just run straight off the platform and fall to her death. There is really no way to predict which one she's gonna do, so just be ready to save a lot. And thankfully you can save whenever you want and as often as you want. And for this reason, I have closing in on 600 saves when I finished Tomb Raider 2, and only 60 of those were related to the spiders, because those spiders just scare the hell out of me. They are actually like my original memory of encountering spiders in video games and being utterly terrified. But in basic, Lara controls perfectly except when she decides your commands are suggestions and she feels like dying. This is a very old school gaming jank and is not really fixable. Just be aware it's gonna happen when you choose to play the game. But the controls being janky doesn't mean the game isn't fun. In fact, I've had a blast playing it. The old Tomb Raider games are basically environmental puzzles, with some minimal combat in the first one and then more combat in the later games. You spend most of your time searching for keys, switches and levers, and trying to find a way to progress through the level, while fighting or avoiding any enemies you come across, and climbing, swimming and leaping to wherever you need to go. And you will do this in silence, as the background music is not constant. Most of the time you have no music at all. Instead, the sounds you have to accompany you on your journey are the environmental sounds of running water, Lara's footsteps, and her multiple different grunts and groans. It is only for moments of intense danger or times where you discover some really impressive places that the game decides to emphasize it with its lovely music score. And I really love these moments, and the music showing up like this is a really good emphasis. Honestly, finding a place that looks really cool and then having the music track kick in makes it far more memorable. The game also looks lovely. It still has the blocky look of the original game, as what they've done is basically update the textures and the different enemies and player models. With this, they managed to keep the original visual style, an atmosphere, but just kinda upgraded it. But you also have the option to play the game with the original graphics. While the new graphics are the default, there is an option in the menu to change to the old look whenever you want, allowing you to experience the game like it was in 1996, 7 or 8, or even go around and compare the old and new looks in different places. But I for one prefer the updated graphics. So if you're interested in trying one of the best gaming series of the mid to late 90s, this is an excellent way to do it. This is a wonderful example of how a remaster should be done, and I've had so much fun playing them. But tell me, what do you think? Are the Tomb Raider Remastered something you're interested in playing? Did you play the originals, and how do you feel about these updates? And did you also lock the butler in the freezer when you played this when you were younger? Let's talk about it in the comments, and while you're down there, do the good YouTube stuff, like and subscribe, all that. But in the end, all I wanna say is takk fyrir að horfa og eigðu yndislegan dag.